All right, welcome everyone to this MRC GT7 Season 3 recap video. I'm 11T11 and I am joined here with Guitar.
Hello, 11D. Glad to be back and excited to kind of be going over some of the highlights, the standings, and everything from last season, Season 3. We had a very interesting season. We had 13 races. We started on April 10th at the High Speed Ring. We ended on July 3rd at Red Bull Ring. And we did, as usual, GR3, or at least mostly GR3. We had a Manufacturers Cup for this season, so everyone who took part will remember that when they joined the season, when they took part in their first race, the car manufacturer that they chose for that race was the car manufacturer that they had to stick with for the rest of the season, and that kind of introduced a interesting new dynamic to the season. So we had that going on. We also had some GR1 races thrown in the mix. We also had some reverse grid sprint races thrown in the mix, and of course we also had some new drivers joining MRC GT7. So yeah, really interesting season, and let's get into the recap. So we'll go through the races and look back on who won, just for a reminder, because it's been quite a while, but it's been a very interesting season. So if you want to kick it off.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to start off with round one. We were at the High Speed Ring. I ended up taking the victory in that race with Big Blind, a rookie, finishing second, and Quasi finishing third. And I was also able to get the fast lap for round one.
Yeah, you're gonna see a trend. A lot of those three names on the podium a lot that season. So round two, we were at Kyoto, the Yamagiwa layout, and this was also a reverse grid sprint race. But in the main race, we had Splash Quasi taking the win, his first win of the season, first of many, and Fetz on the podium as well, and Big Blind as well. So Splash, or Quasi as we usually call him, he also took the fastest lap.
Absolutely. And round three took us to Road Atlanta. Quasi got his second win for the season. There at Road Atlanta, myself finishing second and Big Blind in third, but Fetz taking the fast lap. A little bit different of an order.
Yeah, that's a track that he likes,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
Not surprising. Right, so
right.
moving on, round four, we were at Circuit Spa-Francorchamps, a fan favorite, I guess you could say. Quasi taking the win there. I think that was a very dominant win for him, if I remember. Then 11D, you were on the podium, second place. Big Blind on the podium as well, with Quasi getting the fastest lap. And that was also a race that began, I guess before the race, we began by doing a reverse grid sprint race as well.
Absolutely. Round five took us to Brands Hatch. Not my favorite track, but Quasi ended up getting another win there. Big Blind finishing second and myself in third, and Big Blind taking that fast lap as well.
All right, we headed to Laguna Seca, round six. This was back in May, and another reverse grid sprint race. Big Blind took the victory here. 11D, you were second, and myself was third, my first podium of the season. Trickmobile, one of the rookies of the season, took the fastest lap, so he had a pretty solid race.
Good lap from Trickmobile there. Round seven took us to Dragon Trail. Quasi, another win. Myself in second and Big Blind in third. That same order, you're going to see that popping up. And Quasi taking the fast lap as well. Almost a grand slam there.
Yep, and then next we did Daytona. So this was the first GR1 race we did of the season. It was quite interesting. We also did... this was the race. It was kind of a special race. We were trying to honor the Indy 500, which was going on around the same time. So we did a sprint race with on the oval layout of Daytona with Formula cars, which was really crazy and chaotic. Probably not going to do that again, but it was fun. And then we did the main race was GR1s on the road course layout. 11, you won that race. You were very dominant during that one. Quasi on the podium as well, and myself in third place. And you, of course, had the fastest lap. Not surprising.
Round 9 took us over to Spain in Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona. Big Blind taking his win here. Quasi finishing second. Myself in third with rookie Phoenix Boosted doing one start this season there at Barcelona. Finishing fifth, I believe, and taking the fastest lap. So good showing there for Phoenix Boosted, and hopefully maybe he'll come back around.
Yeah, it was a one and done, but he had good pace when he was racing with us. So next up, we went to Le Mans, and this was another GR1 race we did, of course, to honor the 24 hours of Le Mans that was happening around the same time. Unlike the last time we ran Le Mans, we actually used the chicane on this layout, which is more realistic. And this was another race. Quasi took the victory. But P2 slammed. Great race by him. I think there was some rain during that race. It was pretty unpredictable. So him and Quasi did a really good job of managing during all that chaos. And Big Blind still very quick. Ended up on the podium. Quasi though taking the fastest lap.
All right, round 11 took us over to Monza. I took the win here. Big Blind finishing second and Quasi in third. Myself taking the fast lap as well. BMW was working quite well there for me.
All right, round 12, we did Watkins Glen. I believe it was the full course layout, and it was a reverse grid sprint format as well. Now, in the main race, Quasi took the win. I believe that was his 7th win of the season, so incredible feat for him. Big Blind came in second, 11 you were in third. Again, a very common podium as we've seen, and you took the fastest lap as well, so congrats on that.
And our last race of the season took us over to the Red Bull Ring. Big Blind getting the last win of the season. Fetz getting another podium, finishing second, and myself in third, with Quasi getting the fast lap at the end there, Red Bull Ring. All right. So with the race-by-race rundown out of the way, let's take a look at the drivers that took part of Season 3. We're going to start with Temp, who finished in 15th. He had one start, and unfortunately DNF'd that one start, but he did get a bonus point for starting that race. So he's in 15th place in that Honda.
Yeah, at 14th, we have Phoenix Boosted. As we mentioned, he just took part in one race with us in Barcelona, but had 13 points from that race, which includes the fastest lap. So we'll see if he comes back one day. But yeah, he was pretty quick in the one race that he took part in.
Absolutely. And in 13th, we got Mikey. Now, Mikey had 6 starts this season and finishing in the top 10 every time, with his best being 8th, though. So that means he's finished between 8th and 10th in every race that he started. And he ended up with 29 points this season, racing for Subaru.
12th place, we have our good old friend Craig. He had 9 starts, 8 top 10s. Best race result was P7 and ended up with 32 points. Now, there were some issues during the season. There was a race that he was basically banned from. There were some incidents going on in the race, so he had a race ban. And then towards the end of the season, he was unable to make some of the races due to work. So we'll see, how he does next season. But yeah, that's 12th place in the standings for now.
All right, and in 11th, we got Crazy. Crazy had 11 starts and 8 top 10s with a best finish of 6th. He ended up getting 49 points in that Nissan GTR. Good run for Crazy.
Yep, 10th place, Izzy Boy, 6 starts. He kind of, I guess, left second half of the season. That wasn't racing with us as much. Not sure if it was due to work or just burnout with the league, but in the first half, at least, he was racing with us and was, usually pretty consistent. 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s, for a total of 59 points in the Ford.
And in 9th, we got our Australian racing visitor. Race had 11 starts with 1 top 5 and 10 top 10s. Good running there for the rookie out of Australia. He finished the season with 71 points for that Mercedes team. Only driver for Mercedes.
Yeah, 8th place, one of our other rookies, Trickmobile, 8 starts, 3 top 5s, 8 top 10s, and 87 points in the Porsche. He's been pretty consistent. I believe he's yet to score a podium, but I think it'll come. He's been pretty good, and usually in the sprint races as well, he's pretty consistent. So, yeah, not a bad season for him, considering that he missed 5 of 13 races.
Absolutely, and I believe he was new to the game as well, so for sure
Yeah.
I think we're going to see him up in the podium soon. And in 7th, we got Tricky Potato 07. Tricky had 13 starts, making every race of the season, 10 top 10s, 2 poles. Pretty impressive to put that Audi up on pole. He finished the season with 97 points.
6th place, we got Slammed. He's also in the Ford. He had 12 starts, so made most of the season. 1 podium, as we mentioned there earlier in Le Mans. He had a solid race. 6 top 5s, 142 points, so a very solid debut season for Slammed.
Absolutely. And up in 5th, we got Guitar. Guitar made all 13 starts. He got 2 podiums along the way, along with 6 top 5s. He got 166 points for that Toyota Supra. And,
yeah, a little bit sick of that car by the end. I could have had a better season, but it's not horrible. I'll take it.
Absolutely.
4th place, our friend from Norway, Fetz, in the Porsche. 12 starts on the season. I think the 13th one was maybe just a rage quit, but otherwise his attendance was usually pretty stellar. 2 podiums, 8 top 5s, 170 points in the Porsche this season, so very solid numbers.
Absolutely. Another strong Porsche driver. And in 3rd,
look who it is.
we got myself. 3rd this season with 12 starts. I missed 1 race. I got 3 wins, 11 podiums, and 269 points for that BMW machine. I loved running this thing this season. I just wish it was a little bit more competitive in some tracks, but altogether, I had a great time in this M6.
And our runner-up this season, Big Blind, the rookie, with an incredible season in the Porsche. 13 starts. He made every race, took home 3 wins, and a lot of other wins he almost had. And 12 podiums, 290 points. Really an incredible season. It's a shame that he just came a little bit shy of the championship. It was a very, very close championship battle, but still a very incredible season to be proud of for Big Blind.
Absolutely, and it really did come down to the end. Because we got our Season 3 champion, finishing only 4 points ahead of Big Blind. That would be Splash 35 Quasi. Quasi made 12 starts, only missing 1 race, and out of those 12 got 7 wins and 11 podiums, so only finishing outside the podium once. And yeah, he took that Nissan to the end of many races in first, and was able to get to the end of the season in first as well. Alright, with that done, let's go take a look at the manufacturers. Now in 9th we have Honda. We only had 1 Honda driver, that would have been Temp, and Temp, as we saw, made 1 start and with 1 DNF and only got 1 point. Now, for fun fact, next season we are all in the Honda, so we're all going to be in this boat, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that should be interesting. Next up, we have Subaru, number 8 in the standings. Mikey, of course, in the Subaru with 17 points, 6 starts, and 6 top 10. So a top 10 in every race. Not too bad, but I thought Subaru would be a more popular pick this season. Not as much, but Mikey, of course, still went with it. Glad to see some interesting choices in the manufacturers' picks or standings.
Absolutely. Well, 9 different manufacturers. And I should also mention that the points from the GR1 races do not count for the manufacturers. So that's why the points are a little bit different than the other standings. But in 7th, we have Mercedes, also only with 1 driver. That would be Racing Visitor. Racing Visitor had 11 starts and 1 top 5 for 62 points in that Mercedes manufacturer team.
6th place, we have Audi, represented by Tricky Potato. He's also kind of he represents Team USA, I guess you could say, in Gran Turismo, but he is also German, so he's repping the German manufacturer here, although he did struggle. So he did get 78 points, 13 starts, great attendance, and 10 top 10s. So not a bad season, but the Audi is just a very difficult car to drive in this game. So I think Tricky Potato would have been a lot higher if he had been in a more competitive car, but stuck it out till the end, did his best with the Audi, and ended up in 6th place with the manufacturer's standings.
Absolutely. And in 5th, we got Toyota. First team with 2 drivers. We had Guitar and Phoenix Boosted. Now, Phoenix only made 1 start, but the 2 together were able to get 145 points for that Toyota team with 14 starts and 2 podiums along the way, finishing 5th in this season's Manufacturers Cup.
So number 4, we have Ford. I think the only American company represented here. Slammed and Izzy Boy choosing to take on the Ford. Of course, they have a few different models, so that, I guess, helped with their choice. 157 points, 18 starts, and 1 podium, so not too bad.
Absolutely. And in 3rd, we got BMW, with myself driving it. I was able to get 219 points for the BMW manufacturers team, 12 starts and 3 wins along the way.
Pretty good for a one-man team, like Valentino Rossi out there in the BMW. But number 2, we have Nissan. 2 drivers choosing the Nissan. Of course, Quasi in it in his championship-winning season, so contributed a lot of points there. But Crazy also in the Nissan. Both those guys seem to really enjoy it. 293 points. Of course, not factoring in the GR1 race point totals. So 293 points, 23 starts, and 7 wins. A very solid season for the Nissan in what is a pretty strong car, I would say myself.
Absolutely, definitely competitive. And we got our Season 3 Manufacturers Champion. And no big surprise there, it is Porsche with 4 drivers, Big Blind, Fetz, Trickmobile, and Craig, all repping that Porsche 911. They were able to get 510 points, over 200 points more than 2nd place. These guys had 42 starts and got 3 wins along the way. Absolutely dominant for Porsche, partly because they had more people, but it's also a very strong car, and we're certainly able to extract a lot of points out of that machine.
And it actually would have been even higher if we factored in the GR1 races, because
everyone
a lot of people
Porsche.
were using the Porsche 919, so very strong season for Porsche. But we're going to move on to the nation's standings now. We had 4 countries represented this season, which is pretty cool. I know historically we've been mostly North American League, but we've had some different drivers in coming and going, and some different continents represented, which is really cool. Starting with Australia, number 4, we have Racing Visitor, the lone Australian taking part in this season. 71 points, 11 starts, and 1 top 5. Of course, he's the only Australian driver, so he is the top Australian driver. So yeah, good to see them represented in our league.
Absolutely. We also have Norway represented. We got 1 driver there, and that would be Fetz, of course, the token Nord in our league. He ended up taking 3rd in the Nations Cup with 170 points, 12 starts, and 2 podiums. So beating out Australia along the way.
Yeah, Fetz just has to clone himself, and Norway would be real competitive.
Absolutely.
Next up, in its 2nd place, we have Team Canada. Of course, we're a little biased. Me and Lemedy are representing here, but yeah,
team.
very But yeah, Canada, 753 points, 45 starts combined, and 6 wins. I didn't contribute to the win column, but I'll take credit as part of it. Our top Canadian driver was Big Blind this season, followed by Levendy, myself, Mike Agazuchi, and Temp. And yeah, just I guess we need a few more Canadian drivers, and we might have a shot at the Nations Cup. But a very
Absolutely.
strong season, regardless.
Absolutely. It's coming. And our Season 3 Nations Champion is the United States of America with 8 drivers. They were able to get 773 points, so only about 20 points over Canada. I mean, come on, guys. You had like twice the amount of people. Like, you should get some more points than that. Just kidding. All jokes aside, you guys had 72 starts and 7 wins. Quasi was the top driver from the United States, followed by Slammed in second, Tricky in third, Trickmobile in fourth, Izzy in fifth, Crazy in sixth, Craig in seventh, and Phoenix Boosted in eighth. These guys took that what do they call it? Star Spangled flag.
Star Spangled Banner.
Star Spangled Banner to the top of this season's Nations Cup. All right. Well, with that, let's get into some awards. We have some awards for you guys this season. We're going to start off with Rookie of the Year. Now, we had 6 rookies this year. Big Blind, Slammed, Trickmobile, Racing Visitor, Phoenix Boosted, and Temp, all starting their MRC career this season. And so our Rookie of the Year goes to Big Blind. He got the most points, 290, and finishing second in his rookie year. It's just very impressive. And Big Blind is taking home Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, we should note Big Blind did take part in a race in Season 2, as did, I believe, Temp. He took place, yeah, I think it was Season 2. But we are counting Rookie of the Year as drivers who have taken part in no more than one race previously. So we figured Big Blind basically is a rookie. He only did one race prior to Season 3. So yeah, we gave him the Rookie of the Year award. Of course, second place in the standings. He had an incredible year, so I think it's quite fitting.
Absolutely. All right.
So yeah, let's move on to the most improved driver of the season. This is the driver who we think, started off maybe not bad, but over the season gradually got stronger results. And we're giving the award to Slammed CRX, who picked up a podium later on in this season at Le Mans and just seemed to have pretty good pace as the season went on in that Ford.
Absolutely,
Ford
he
team.
definitely figured out how to get most amount of performance extracted out of that Ford Mustang. And so, yeah, Slammed is going to take home most improved driver. Now we're going to move on to the pole position award. So this is given to the driver with the most pole positions over this season. And that is going to go to Big Blind. Big Blind taking 6 poles this season. Absolutely dominant for qualifying and well, dominant in the race as well, able to turn 3 of those back into wins. So Big Blind is taking the pole position award for this season of MRC.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pole in almost half the races, so
Yeah.
definitely by far the driver that had the most pole positions this season.
Yeah.
So next up, we have the fastest lap award, and this one is going to be a tie, our first tie. We have Quasi and Eleventy, co-winners of this award, getting the most fastest laps this season. Just a testament to their race pace this season.
Absolutely. All right. Now we're going to move on to the most amount of attendance points given over the season. So if you made every single race and got all the attendance points given to this, and this is also a tie between Big Blind and Guitar Hero for making every single race, I believe, over the season.
We both got 26 points out of 26, which is the max. So, yeah,
maximizing those attendance bonus points. So
definitely helps. Yeah, every point helps.
Taking advantage of that, as yeah, another tied award. So yeah, it's going to Big Blind and Guitar. Now, of course, with the Manufacturers Cup, you guys have already seen it, but it goes to Porsche. Absolutely dominant. Most amount of drivers, but also just most amount of points by a huge long shot. And so, of course, Porsche is going to take home the Manufacturers' Cup.
Yeah, next up we have the Nations Cup. Again, unsurprisingly, the U.S. wins it. Nations Cup champion, Season 3, the United States. And actually, it was a bit closer, as we saw earlier. It was closer than I
It's pretty
initially
close, yeah,
remembered.
it's pretty close.
But yeah, obviously, it helps when you have 8 drivers competing for you. So, yeah, congrats to our American friends for winning the Nations Cup this season.
Absolutely. All right, and then, of course, we have the Drivers' Champion. This is awarded to the person who got the most amount of points over the season. And as you guys know, our Season 3 Drivers' Champion is, of course, Splash35 Quasi, with 7 wins over the season. Truly took a hold of this championship. It came down close to the end, but he did enough to get the points and win this championship. So congratulations to Quasi, and I can't wait to be racing with him on track again, try to take back that championship. All right, with the awards out of the way, let's go take a look now at the all-time stats. So this is these stats for all the seasons. If you started in Season 1, Season 2, doesn't matter. So we're going to take a look first at the all-time wins. Now, I currently hold this record with 13, but Quasi is very quickly catching up to me in second with 9 wins. Big Blind is in third with 3. Izzy is in fourth with 2. And then we have a tie for fifth with Guitar, Fetz, and Dark Panther, all with 1 win.
Okay, so next, our all-time pole position leaders. In first place again, we have 11, common theme here. It's got 7 pole positions. Next up, we have Big Blind with 6 poles, all from this season. So it'd be interesting to see what happens next season. He might overtake you for first place if he keeps up the pace that he's had over the course of this season. In third place, we have Izzy Boy with 5 poles. Very excellent qualifying driver. Then in fourth place, we have a tie that is between Quasi and Tricky Potato. They both have 2 pole positions. Of course, this is also taking into consideration the sprint races. So if you win a sprint race, effectively, that is a pole position. So that is also factoring in here. Myself, I have a pole position that I earned earlier this season, and Fetz also has a pole position, so we're tied for 6th.
All right, now let's go take a look at the all-time fastest laps. Now, I was a little surprised with this one because I didn't really think I had a whole lot of these, but I am also leading this with 10, and it's bigger margin than I thought. Quasi is in second with 4, and then we got a tie for third between Guitar and Wienerdrank, who hasn't been racing in a while, but Wienerdrank has always been known for going for the fastest lap. So the few races that he did participate in, of course, he got the fastest lap. So they are tied in third with 3, and then we have a 3-way tie for fifth with Fetz, Izzy, and Big Blind with 2 each. And then in 8th, we have a 4-way tie with Tricky Potato, Trickmobile, BB Nasty, and Phoenix Boosted, all with 1 fastest lap each.
All right, now time for all-time podiums. Again, 11, leading by far. 25 podiums is the most of any driver. But the next up, we have Quasi, our Season 3 champion, 16 podiums. Very impressive. Big Blind in third with 13 podiums. Then myself in fourth with 10 podiums. Fetz in fifth with 9 podiums. Izzy Boy in sixth with 8 podiums. And then we have a couple drivers tied for 7th place. So Wienerdrank with 2 podiums going back to Season 1. 562 King, another Season 1 driver, 2 podiums. And then we have in 9th place Tricky Potato and Slammed tied with... we have a bunch of drivers tied for 9th. We got Tricky Potato, Slammed, Crazy Old, BB Nasty, and Dark Panther, all with 1 career podium.
Alright, now let's take a look at the all-time top 5s. I am also on top of this one with 26. Fetz is in second, though, with 21. And Guitar's in third with 20, so it's pretty close. Quasi also in fourth with 19. So those guys, 3 apart. Izzy is in 5th with 17 top 5s. Big Blind, strong showing this season, getting top 5 every race, so he has 13. Slammed is in 7th on this list with 6 top 5s. Nasty is in 8th with 4, and then we have a 5-way tie for 9th with Trickmobile, Crazy, Craig, Wiener Drink, and King all having 3 top 5s each. And then when we go down, we have a 2-way tie for 15th with Tricky Potato and Mike. Those guys have 2. And then another 5-way tie for 17th with Racing Visitor, Dark Panther, Phoenix Boosted, Nate, and Temp, all with 1 top 5 each.
Now we have the all-time DNF list. Not the stat you want to be most proud of, but
kind of don't want to be on top of this one.
We have to go through it. We're going through the stats. So in first place we have Crazy Alt with 7. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that this, DNFs happen for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's a rage quit. Sometimes it's internet dropping. Sometimes your game crashes. Sometimes you have a whiny kid that you have to take care of. So keep that in mind when we're going through these lists. So Crazy Alt with 7 DNFs, Fets with 5, Tricky Potato with 4, Craig with 4 DNFs, Brody, who I think also was a Season 1 driver, 2 DNFs, and then Izboy and Wiener Drank, BB Nasty, Mike, and Nate all with just 1 DNF. So, I mean, that's pretty good, I guess. If you've taken part in 3 seasons of MRC and you only have 1 DNF, not bad.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Alright, now let's go for the all-time starts, and we got a tie for first with this one, with Guitar and Fets each having 29 starts for both of them, and I believe we've only had 30 races, so that means that these guys have only missed 1 race in the entire MRC GT7 racing league, which is pretty crazy to think about.
It also means, though, that no driver has taken part in every single race.
That is true.
Even myself, even though I host most of the races, which is why I'm there, there was, I think, 1 race where I fell asleep or something happened and I missed it. But I try my best to show up, of course.
Things happen, but you're still on top. You and Fats 29 starts each. Myself is in 3rd with 26. Izzy and Crazy and Craig are all tied for 4th with 22 each. Mike is in 7th with 20. Quasi and Tricky are tied in 8th with 19. Big Blind is in 10th with 14. Then we got Slammed and Racing Visitor tied in 11th for 12 each, with Trickmobile in 13th with 8 starts. BB Nasty in 14th with 6 starts. And we got a tie for 15th with Wiener Drank and Brody, each having 5 starts each. Then we got King in 17th with 4 starts. Nate and Temp tied in 18th with 2. And then we have Dark Panther and Phoenix Boosted tied for 19th with 1 start. Oh, sorry, and Shank and Harry Johnson also have 1 start, so they are also tied for 19th.
All right, so all-time points leaders. Our all-time points leader is, of course, 11D11, no surprise. 615 points across all 3 seasons. Season 1 was also like a very dominant season for you, 11D, so definitely racking up the points. No surprise there. Second place is Quasi. I think he's only been here for 19 out of 30 races, but already second all-time in the points, 421 to his name. Myself, 412 points in 3rd place. It helps when you make every race, or almost every race, for consistency. Fets close behind in 4th place with 393 points. Then Izzy Boy's in 5th with 325. Big Blind already in 6th place, 301 points. Tricky Potato in 7th with 161. As we go down, Slammed is in 8th with 139. Crazy is in 9th place with 125 points. Mike is just 1 point behind him all time, 124 points in 10th place. 11th place is Craig, 104. Trickmobile is in 12th with 81 points. Then Racing Visitor, 75. BB Nasty, 72 points. Wiener Drank, 57 points. 562 King, 52. Brody and Dark Panther tied for 17th place with 25 points. Nate and Phoenix Boosted tied for 19th place with 13 points, and Temp with 11 points. And then a few guys who showed up in Season 1 but dropped out shortly after. Shank with 4 points, and Private Harry Johnson with 2 points. And one of the funniest names on the grid. So,
of course. All right, but that about wraps up this recap video. I just want to thank all of you guys for racing with us. It's a whole lot of fun. Every Monday night we come out and just have a good old time in Gran Turismo. Also, while Guitar's here, I think we all deserve to give him some thanks for keeping track of all these stats, for running these races, for doing everything here. So thank you very much, Guitar. Is there anything?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun putting together the stats for this video, and of course, big thanks to you, Alemni, for making all the graphics, editing the videos. It's a lot of work as well. But I think that we have come a long way just in this last season with the presentation and everything. It's like so much cooler and more professional looking. So none of us get paid to do this, but it's a passion project, and I think we've gotten a lot better at it. So yeah. I'm excited for Season 4 of MRC GT7.
Absolutely. And well, speaking of that, Season 4 has already started. We have done our first race, but if any of you guys are interested in coming out to race with us, you absolutely can. It is a NSX 1 make series for this season. It's a bit of a shorter season, only 6 races, but it is, I think, shaping up to be pretty interesting. It's a car that, well, as we saw, only one driver had experience with last season, Temp, and he only did 1 race. So it's a pretty new car for all of us. We're all just getting to grips with it. But I'm pretty excited. I think it'll be interesting, and I think it'll be cool to see where everyone sits when there's not a car a factor in play. Everyone's in the same car, same settings, same everything. So
yeah, it's a bit of a challenging car at first, but I think it's quite rewarding once you get the feel for it. And we are, of course, also doing sort of a one-off race in the middle of the season. We're doing a GR2 race with sort of open settings, not open settings, but open manufacturers, essentially. So you can take any car you want for that one, and that's our first ever GR2 race. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. We got some new things we're trying out for this season, and looking forward to racing with everyone, of course.
Absolutely. Well, I guess with that said, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you on the track. Later.
Peace.